Ronald Reagan was a conservative icon.
Eisenhower was the person who contained the divas, and that includes people like Patton, who didn't want to listen to anyone.
Your hat has seen better days.
I have here a campaign hat from the 1960 Democratic Convention and a campaign poster from 1960 from Kennedy's campaign. This was kind of the standard poster that Kennedy put out in his presidential bid in 1960.
He was the first candidate for president ever to really embrace television. Do you remember this campaign?
I can remember little bits about it, son. I was in the military at the time.
Kennedy was a Navy man.
That's right.
And that's how come I voted for him.
Your hat has seen better days. The problem is they printed this on really cheap paper. It was never meant to last, so we have this thing right here literally
Deteriorating in front of our eyes.
I mean, the poster is in pretty good shape. One little tear, which is pretty common for election posters because people didn't take care of them back then. How much do you want for these?
Well, the poster I'd like $250 and the hat $600.
Ooh.
That's a lot of money. So what do you think, Rick?
I'm thinking $200 for the whole kit and caboodle.
I was thinking $250. That was what I was thinking, damn it.
Did you go up to $400?
I'll go $250. That's what I can go.
All right.
Okay. All right. It's a deal.
Thank you, sir.
Earlier, a guy brought in Ronald Reagan's high school yearbook, along with a letter signed by Ronald Reagan. It looks right, but you never really know, so I called my buddy Drew to come down and take a look.
Ronald Reagan was a conservative icon. Like most presidents, is highly forged. The value of it is pretty strong, so you always have to take a look at all the details and make sure it's authentic. Well, one major thing that we're always going to be looking for is the capital R is always supposed to be larger in the first name than in the last name. I need to see that the D is tilted back a bit because that's a style that he would always do. Very interesting. T-bars are at the top. Okay. If we take all the evidence together in its totality, this is beautiful. It's 100% authentic.
Great. So what do you think it's worth?
I would say altogether, the value of both the book and the letter, you know, if you framed it up nice, retail $2,500, $3,000.
Really?
Yeah, right about there.
Great.
All right.
Looks like he scored. All right. So what do you think, Big Hoss?
Thinking around 1,800.
I'm thinking, I mean, he said 25 to 3 grand, so how about 2,500?
I would offer you that, ma'am, but I'm gonna have to frame it, and this is all gonna have to go together in one piece, and it's gonna have to be in a way that I can present it and sell it to somebody.
2,100.
I'll give you 2 grand if it helps you out.
All right.
Deal.
Earlier, a guy came in with a World War II book he says is signed by Dwight D. Eisenhower. Even if the signature is legit, I have no way to price it. So I called in my friend Rebecca to help me out.
Crusade in Europe, this is all about World War II, specifically the European front. Eisenhower was involved in this from pretty much the beginning. He was the person who contained the divas, and that includes people like Patton, who didn't want to listen to anyone. Or General Montgomery, who was the same way on the British side. I have the same book in the signed limited edition.
Okay.
What we're gonna do is look at the 2 signatures. One thing that we have to worry about is that Eisenhower actually had an auto pen. So there is the possibility in this time period that he could actually have the auto pen signed for him.
Nice.
The nice thing about this, though, is you have this full inscription here. And since you've got a uniformity of ink with the inscription and the signature, we know it's not auto pen. It's real.
Sweet.
Oh, that's great. Awesome.
So what's it worth?
Without the jacket, this book is worth $1,500. If it had a dust jacket, it needs to retain the dust jacket. If it was an original binding, it should stay in that binding. You're losing a huge part of its value.
How much you want for it now?
She said 1,500. I'm thinking around 1,000. That gives you a little room.
I'm thinking more like 800 bucks.
How about the difference, 900?
We're still talking about a lot of money for a book.
But it's an Eisenhower book.
850.
No, I've got to stay with 9. It's really unique.
You know what? I'll go the 9. I'll go the 9.
All right, we got a deal.
All right.
Thanks.
I'll meet you right up front.